I actually do like their squad quite a bit better. I feel like they tick so many boxes. The engage boxes tick. They have the control mage, which is something we always talked about because MFD, we're heading down a 4-1 direction with Taco being the main split pusher, but Wen just could not play the standard control mage. Now they have Hongtu in, they have a 0 for the wave here, they have the late game, and they also got the Poppy to disengage hairy situations. This is a very well drafted composition. It's strong in the laning phase, it has purpose, it actually counters what the enemy team comp wants to do, puts them in difficult positions. I'm actually so proud about this draft. I feel like this is probably the toughest draft that PSG has had to face.
We will see. With the tools to succeed, can MFT find themselves a win over the reigning champions of the PCS? We'll see. Underway, PSG trying for a little sneaky. Gonna get much there, just a ward to track out anything that comes their way, as well as the red start, so they'll get information on the jungler. I think that was... It's not been matched, but 665 could drop down the trinket. Doesn't choose to. Or does he? I didn't see that one on the minimap. I don't think he got it down.
Yeah, I don't think there is a ward, and there's no CS taken, so... No,
you think there is, though. This is mind games. This is 3D chess.
We do see the
well, technically all chess is 3D. It's 4D.
PSG actually pinged the ward ping on the backside of the red, so they have to assume that it's there. But
actually, so what is the advantage to not warding that, but your opponent thinking you did?
Well, you save some time in the level 1. You don't have to base, so you know that in itself is probably a pretty good advantage. Early levels, you do expect Taco to get a bit of a lead just because of Counter-Strike being such an OP ability. It also pushes the wave. It's just incredibly strong earlier on. And because Hanabi did bring that Ignite, we have to be very careful about these trades. If the trades go sideways for Hanabi and takes too much damage, goes down, then the lane could be a reverse snowball. It can go sideways very, very quickly for him. So, you know, we have to pay close attention to the jungle pathing. Poppy is one of those champions that I think is deceptively strong in the early game. A lot of times you think, oh, this is a fighter champion, Zin's out, you can take the Poppy one-on-one. And then the Poppy smashes your teeth in against the wall, and you suddenly realize, the matchup isn't as easy as you think it is.
I'm really liking that the Poppy started to be picked up for these more aggressive junglers as well. So I think we already saw it earlier today with Kolnge, 665, going to be grabbing it too. And yeah, Hongtu making a debut here in the PCS, and see if he can play the control mages. It was something that Wen certainly struggled with. 665 walking up. Easily dodges the charm. I feel like Gory might be feeling a bit of pressure here in this lane.
Yeah, I think he is going to be a little bit uncomfortable. This is the biggest thing that Gory was criticized on when he was in the LPL. It's just that his laning phase 1v1 wasn't all that strong. So teams were able to take advantage of that one. And it's good to see people finally putting him into that position once more. I feel like he's been getting away with so much, just playing control mages, infinite scaling, such and such. In the meantime, MFT, as we talked about, should be expected to have a stronger matchup early, at least in the bottom side. So 665 is going to use that to get the Herald. Now, this does mean that top lane, Herald should go over to the side of Bury. He's playing super carefully here. That probably means that the ward actually didn't spot out Poppy. But overall, I feel like this trade is actually a little bit more beneficial to PSG, just the way the map is set up here, because they can keep that Gwen alive.
Yeah, you want to make sure you don't let Taco start to snowball out of control. That Jax can become a massive pain in your side all game long. So he's actually held at bay for the time being and has a CS deficit. So, you know, Hanabi, he did opt into this matchup. Or rather, he picked the Gwen first and allowed the Jax to be picked into it. And it is worth keeping in mind for all we talk about Hanabi, you know, maybe potentially struggling, being exploitable. He is kind of the weak side king and has been. Here we go, the engage though. In the bottom side, Issue going to start this one as they focus Kaiwing. 665 cuts him off and he pulls him back in. That's the wallbang, but Kaiwing's walking out. Grey Hell shredded through for first blood for Kalista, but Bury wants revenge. Issue dashes out. 665 going to try to hold the line there on the steadfast presence. Doesn't need it. Okay, nicely done. MFT draw first blood on PSG.
I didn't feel like Kaiwing actually was stunned much, but the damage enough is able to get the first blood anyways. And we could see Bury was actually just a couple steps behind, but MFD pulled the trigger faster, and this is what we wanted to see. Strong lanes, strong snowball, tempo contest. Let's watch this again. Unified actually does a pretty good job at everything that he can do right here. He does manage to land the root onto a minion, and that hits Whale. The Whale is still able to catch up because he is that Callista, even though there is a bit of healing going through, not enough to save Kaiwing from that one. And we also see Hongtu, not Hongtu, excuse me, Gory actually being very low HP here.
Yeah, zoned out. I don't know what happened in the aftermath, but both of the mid laners got tagged up quite heavily, but it was Gory that got forced out of lane. This is a good start for MFT. They've got themselves a decent lead. Hongtu hit 6, has Emperor's Divide available to him. And yeah, I think this rel pick for Issue really worked out down bottom. It was a great use of the Pheromancy, both aggressive and defensive, to get out of harm's way. 665, this is what we want to see out of the Poppy jungle. And really so far, so good.
The start with a throwback, basically it's guaranteed, and Kaiwing is going to be able to flash away from that one. So I really like the start to that fight, just going in and being certain that your jungler is actually going to come in a little bit faster in that situation was a good call coming in from Issue. So this bot lane now with the they don't have the summoner lead just yet, but they've already got that one kill. They have a decided advantage already. They could be looking for the repeat.
All right, Hongtu does eat a charm, but not punished with too much damage there, as there's not a lot to be had just yet for Gory. 665 has to take the blast going out as he runs straight into Bury, and Bury is really trying to keep up, but has been a little bit slower on the draw. This time it's reactive, and see as we continue to shift our focus down bottom side. Top has been in a bit of a holding pattern. I think there's always kill threat, but into the defensive Ignite Gwen, the fact that it's Hanabi playing it, I do think Taco does have his work cut out for him, and 665 has very much got his eye trained bot side.
I was pretty happy to just wait and scale this one up anyway. Make sure the game is more about the bottom lane, as you mentioned here.
It's fine. Jax is a timer.
Yeah, Jax always goes off, no matter what you do to keep him down all that much. 665 definitely looking for an angle here, and this wave is pushing in. Unified, another Q goes across the backline minions. In they go.
Okay, they're going to start, and here comes Flash, but they don't know it's a 3v3. Bury waiting for just a second as they look for Unified, a little low on mana. Here's the turn. They do find 665, but he pings Kaiwing into the wall, and here comes Issue, trying for the connection, but he ejects out one. Keeper's Verdict. Kaiwing taken so low, but the second wind effort is there, and they'll take down Whale. In the 3v3 extended, Issue now forced to flash away, gets rooted to the spot. That should be 2 kills in the cleanup. PSG, calm, cool, collected.
Yeah, they play that so well. Kaiwing turns around, gets the initial tongue lash onto Issue. It takes so long for Issue to actually start the engage, and by the time they finally get it, Bury is in position already. So they're able to turn around everything. Even though there was a really cool play by 665, I felt like that was an overforce because it forces Whale to go forward to chase down the kill in that instance, and it just doesn't work out for him. The turnaround kill is available for PSG. So we'll watch this fight again. 665 with the Hexmaster. Look at Kaiwing. He is able to get the stun down. Unified with the mist, poking up everyone. Issue goes back in. Whale does a pretty cool play here, but again, I feel like, Whale just goes in way too hard, trying to chase down a support kill. Completely unnecessary here, and MFD, I felt like they could have cut their losses and be in a much stronger position.
Yeah, I agree. I think they could have just kept playing that out the way they were. They still had the lead, but now they give it back, and then some over to the side of PSG. 1 kill for the Xin Zhao, 1 kill for the Tahm Kench. It gives PSG a little bit of tempo in their own pockets to play with, and I guess we'll take a look elsewhere here. A slight lead, Hanabi over Taco. It does mean that Unified can go on a roam with Bury over into this Herald. They already had control. Look at all the ward coverage there. Not a lot MFT can do.
And this should be dropped into the top side as well, I feel like. Just making sure Nabi gets a solid lead. You can keep Jax down. Definitely worthwhile attempt here. Such a nice play coming in from PSG's bottom side. they see MFT holding on to the wave, and they just roamed unified preemptively to get that one done. It's gonna come back into the bot side and maybe even be able to poke down here. Let's see how fast Bury can get to the scene. If Bury's not here, they probably leave it over to MFT. Yeah, they're not gonna contest the 3v2.
That's fine. It's a very late first dragon, right? Like, I mean, MFT, this is a consolation prize for them. They will get that first ocean. And meanwhile, mid lane, a little tit for tat. Hong2 does have a level advantage and going to try to use it to its fullest. And Gory's going to be zoned out. This has been one of the quieter Gory games. He's had a couple of decent charms, but, you know, this game isn't about him. We're focusing a lot more on the bottom side, especially for Unified and Kaiwing. You talked about how they've been playing at a lot more... kind of at like 60, 70% potential. I mean, they've ramped up a little bit here, and they've had some help. Bury, I think, though, has been the one that's needed to step up, and so far he has. Knowing exactly what MFT are going to do, he focuses his attention bot side. He's now waiting for the lane gank opportunity.
Yeah, I really doubt that MFT are going to step up and challenge right here, but as I say that, 665 just comes over for a game.
And power recall, though.
Kaiwing, yeah. It looks like PSG are just going to play this one safe. It's always pretty risky with these Poppy ganks because if she lands the ultimate, she could just take 2 members and send them back to the base, and you find yourself in the 3v1. So they're not going to force the issue on this one.
I guess there's some crazy stuff you could do. You can maybe try to eject him towards your own tower, but that requires a heck of a flank, at the very least. And looks like 665 is just going to be trying to clear out ward coverage. PSG just so good at the vision game, and you know they've definitely been our team to watch as far as like macro is concerned for a long time. I feel like even with these changes, they're great at vision. They're great at reading the map state. Something that has always had an edge for this squad over the other PCS teams. However, I think the parity's starting to catch up a little bit. MFT still have a gold lead worth keeping in mind, but they need to play the tempo. That's what they built this composition for, Clement.
Kind of interesting to see the gold lead there. It's mainly concentrated. I think it's still in the mid lane here. Seen Hong2 poke out Gory quite a couple of times. Meanwhile, a really strong back coming in from Hanabi does have that. Does have the mythic. Yeah, the Riftmaker done already. So you know, should be able to send Jax packing right here and see if Gory can find some of that tempo.
Good Sand Soldier play, as well as the shift, as Hong2 is able to move out. I think if there was any doubt, if this player that they bring in to kind of plug some of the gaps that we had been seeing with their previous mid laners play, Hong2 certainly knows his way around an Azir.
If Hong2 can just play Azir, he can play the Corki, and maybe the Victor. Like, I think he is a solid upgrade over Wen, just based on champion pool. I feel like
Wen was kind of like your Galio, like, complete the Wombo combo guy. Like, that seemed like his best champion, and I feel like this just isn't... Sure, you could play the Galio if you want. Doesn't really feel like what MFT want to do. So, yeah, you know, it may be early to say. I feel like Hong2 is the upgrade.
Especially with Predator gone, it's players like Wen are going to struggle so much.
Hurry back in. Keeper's Verdict wind
here?
up. Oh, just out of range. Ah, well. Go next.
Nobody saw that.
Oh, man.
Oh,
that was like a pixel away.
Play. Coming in
Bury's
from PSG.
Tracking 65 really well. Here we go. They're going to pop the Rift Herald in River, in fact, and look for this to go into mid. Charm does land. It's just a little bit of extra poke, and they're going to shepherd this into the lane, maybe look for a big play. There's a back timer to work with. Whale's not here, having just picked up the Immortal Shield Bow on base, and that's just going to be the charge. They won't get much else out of it, but PSG do get the gold lead off the plates.
I like the movement there from PSG as well. Kind of an opportunistic find going in towards the mid lane. They also cut off the back of the red buff, so there was a chance that they could catch out someone there. MFT just seed over control, though. Go back, they get their buys, and you know, looking at the grand picture here, MFT, I still think they have a very strong late game. I like Poppy over Xin Zhao when it goes into the late phases. I like Jax over the Gwen, and I also like the Azir over the Ahri. So I feel like if MFT hold on, we do have that sort of late game scaling fest that we can look forward towards, and they should still be able to win out that one. So in my eyes, it's still PSG and how much they can make use of the Xin Zhao Ahri.
Yeah, I think that is going to be pretty big. You do see the Mythic buys starting to come in. You already talked about the Riftmaker completing for Hanabi, but the Gore Drinker's up as well for Bury, who has had a very active game. I think it was Nightstar called him a bit more of a caretaker previously, because his lanes kind of just didn't really need him to do much more than check in every once in a while. But now, well, he's had a much more active hand, and I like this side of Bury. I want to see more of it. If teams can challenge PSG, this is good for the team, right? You know, I feel like we kind of say the same thing every split. Like, we need teams to challenge PSG because when they most likely go to Worlds, I know this split is far from being written. We do want them not to be complacent.
That's true. We always want them to have a couple of tricks up their sleeve, to play better than they do in the domestic split. But if they don't face any opposition, it's kind of hard to do. And the onus is on the rest of the PCS to make our representatives stronger. You know, I don't blame PSG for looking not all that sharp in internationals. I always feel like, you know, our other teams are partly to blame for our leaders' mistake as well.
I do think we're having a lot, like every split we've had a bit more parity though, right? I mean, like obviously the start of the season, big shakeups, a lot of departures and a lot of new players. In summer, it does feel like a lot of teams have gotten really, really strong. I'm not really sure at the moment what the power balance is between all of our squads because, you know, PSG, they have only lost one game, but they've been challenged. I think a lot of our top teams have been challenged. J-Team, especially. We've seen Megabank Beyond Gaming rise and fall and rise again. Is a really interesting summer split so far as MFT start up on this Hextech Dragon. They do have the Callisto, the wind up of the Keeper's Verdict. They just want the objective, and they do get it. Will they get out cleanly is the question. Whale isolated. Does manage to hop the wall, though, and yeah, they're good. MFT. They get in, they get out.
If they are on position first, it was a really good use of ramp control coming in from 665. He gets the jungler away, no smite pressure, and walks out knowing that he has the flash. So just stick to the wall. Worst comes to worst, you burn a summoner. It's completely okay right here. Very cool, calm, collected play on the side coming in from MFD. And you know, I'm very surprised about this, but Gory has not been able to get anything off of Hongtu. We've seen no tempo ganks here. And if you think about the caliber of these players, it's actually really surprising. You have Hongtu, who's played in amateur scene and played in on the Meta Falcon squad in collegiate, and he's going up against an LPL mid laner and doing completely fine. I think that's a pretty good testament to Hongtu.
Yeah, I mean, I do want to give MFT some credit on the scouting front because clearly it's working out, and I think their draft was really, really good. This is something that teams have been improving at, you know, unexpectedly, I think, in some cases. And I feel like that's one of the biggest things in the PCS. It's like, we have drafts that are like either Giga Brain or 5-head. There doesn't seem to be an in-between right now.
There seems to be no, like, just normal draft trade back. Everyone is, like going forward with their own recipe on the meta. It's always kind of fun to see here.
Yeah.
PSG
it's like playing Breath of the Wild, right? You want to toss all the ingredients in the pot, and sometimes you make something beautiful. Sometimes it's like, ew, why did you do that?
Oh, I never looked at the guides for that game, man. That game was so.
Don't look at the guys. You don't need them at all. All right, well, the charm does land, and this is actually a pretty good setup for PSG. But
goodbye, Xin
just ejects. Yeah, Xin Zhao come back a little bit later, and now Gory trying to 1v2 here into the steadfast presence of the Poppy. He does dash forward, and the ultimate comes out from Unified, doesn't find it. We get a big old fight. The knockback, Shurima shuffling PSG away. Hongtu manages to live, and so does the rest of MFT. I don't believe it. The only casualty is Gory.
That was insane. Poppy is so incredibly tanky. It's very easy to forget how strong this champion actually is. MFT able to escape with, I think, about 300 HP on those two champions combined. Great Emperor's Divide, a great TP coming in from Taco just in the nick of time to equalize things. We're gonna watch this again. This was a little bit greedy from 665, but he did the play. He walked forward because he knew he had that ultimate in the back. Takes the full rotation from 665, but hey, he gets the ult off. Completely fine. 665 even walks forward just to deny Gory the ultimate. I was a little bit cheeky, not sure he needed to do that, but it turns out okay. Also a watch issue going in. Great ultimate right there, and great use of the stun. Actually stops the damage from 4 members of PSG to keep his middle laner alive.
Yeah, that was huge, and Hongtu, you know, really helped out the rest of his team as the Emperor's Divide comes through. Gory now up to the top side and being hunted. I don't know if 665 and Hongtu want this. I think they might be hoping for a cheeky face check, and it's gonna happen into the wall bang. Boom! Shuffle, ping pong, nowhere to go, and oh boy, where were you when Gory got clapped?
Oh, that was so fun to see. The Shakalaka going in and no chance to use the ultimate here by Gory. The Poppy pick, really clever here. I think Poppy needs to be picked a little bit more. She works so well.
This is fun League of Legends, man. See, you offer a good analytical point. I just want a banger. Issue could be in trouble. He is on the rail, though. This is a big, beefy front line. We've talked about how this team has a lot of sustain, has a lot of stats on a stick. And MFT, this is looking pretty good for a 2-win team up against the reigning champs.
I also want to point your attention to this Jax build. So Frozen Heart second item Jax. Very much team fight focused compared to split pushing Jax we've seen. So I feel like this Taco Jax was a bit of a bait. It's actually out Hanabiing the Hanabi. It's more of a team fight champion.
MFT, this is actually crazy because they went for out Gory and Gory, and they're out Hanabi and Hanabi. Can you only beat PSG with themselves?
I think it is. I'm the captain now. Look at me.
Oh my goodness.
I have control of the late game. This is.
I love this.
I know
This is such a
so
mind
creative.
game. Oh, there we go. Issue. Gonna look for Gory into the charm. But he's so tanky, he's not going down. I don't know if they want this fight. However, the Sand Soldier's starting to do work right now, and you have Bury. And he is very sustainful as well. 665 taken low in the Gwen miss. You see Hanabi trying to lead the charge down the line. They will be able to find one. Issue finally falls, but that is the only kill they get. MFT scatter, and they don't lose anyone else. This will be a dragon for PSG, but I don't think MFT are all that worried about it.
That was a great play from Hanabi, just at the right place at the right time. MFT thought they had a collapse onto Gory on the right side, but what they didn't factor in was Hanabi was in position first, so he's able to block out the path from Taco. The left side is a super awkward engage. I'm actually kind of surprised that Fate Call wasn't used earlier. They could have just gotten Issue out of the fight and reset that one. They would still have a lot of threat in that situation. So we'll watch this one again. Okay, so they actually know that Hanabi's there, but they still go in for Gory anyway. I feel like this is definitely a mistake with Issue. You look at his position, he's top two sides. Unified is able to fire away. Nobody dealing any damage to him whatsoever. And MFT used a lot of their power just to get their support out of a bad position. Also, a ton of summoners burned into that one. Solid win for PSG.
Absolutely. Although I do want to credit MFT for only losing a single player, and it was the support at that. So could have been a lot worse. And in the aftermath of everything on the resets, they actually do manage to get the tower. I mean, yes, Taco is playing a very teamfight-oriented build, but he is still a Jax, which means he bops things with the lamppost.
True.
Usually objectives.
Really all Jax needs to do. I really want to crunch the numbers on this Frozen Heart build because if you think about it, it does work quite well against the 1,000 cuts coming in from Hanabi, but also if the Gwen kites a little bit, she actually spends a lot of animation frames in her abilities as well. So not really sure if that's a beneficial build just solo. I still think the Blade of Ruin team probably is a lot better. But it's a very interesting build that, you know, could actually still be pretty cost effective in the lane and also in the team fight as well.
Look at this, PSG grouping in the brush, looking for the chase down. They will find the charm onto Whale. That's pretty massive right now, and gets him rooted down. Can't quite finish the fight. The ejection comes in, and they isolate Unified Hanabi. This is the chance for the turnaround, and even though Hanabi's in the mist, wow, he actually stays alive for quite a long time here. And PSG, they're just smelling blood themselves now, forcing the flash out of Hongtu, and MFT, woo boy, they thought they found a flank to dive into, but instead, that was some tough meat to chew.
I like how that catch, just from Gory, turns into a 10-man brawl in the mid lane in an instant. You know, a really good move from MFT, you know, like they're not giving up an inch willingly, they're gonna fight for things, but overall PSG just had way too good of a start on that fight. They forced out the 80 carry at the beginning. They get the summoners off already, and Hanabi is the one taking the damage. He's perfectly happy to tank. Has a lot of HP to burn through. Also, the Zanya is now completed, so I feel like MFT have to think about their positioning a little bit more. If they trade sides against Hanabi, it's not going to work out for them.
Yeah, I think you're right. They need to get the setup. They actually opt to start this Baron a little bit late, and I think this is happening in full vision, unfortunately, because there's a ward in the back behind the pit for them. So PSG can get in position right now. They're going to try to zone Taco away from this one. MFT, a little indecisive right now. They're going to peel off. Spurry charging forward into the Crescent Guard. Look at the damage they're going to start doing here. They're going to actually have 665 eject Gory for a second, but do they have enough second wind damage to make it happen? No! Into the mist, Hanabi. Gwen is immune, and PSG take full advantage. They do manage to find Bury, but I think it's just gonna be that. Taco isolated, last man standing as 665 is limped away. And I don't know if he's getting away.
Weird
2 for 4.
Execution on the play afterwards. There is some reasoning, some scenarios where you could realistically rush that down, but 665 really needed to cover the ramp a lot better. Like, he could have gone out of the pit, used the ultimate a bit earlier, prevent PSG from coming down into the river. That didn't happen. I feel like MFT actually overstayed on the objective. We'll watch this being executed again, and I want to pay attention to where 665 is. He had, his ultimate wasn't off. They were waiting for the cooldown on that one. It was off by a couple of seconds. If they had the ultimate, then I think you could reason that this play was somewhat a smart play. You have a really fast take with the Azir, with the Leon, who's Anguish. You also have the extra smite, but they didn't have the ultimate in time. So PSG are able to abuse that fact to get into position. I feel like Taco does a really good job at cleaning up the bits and pieces here, but once again, Whale goes down super early. He didn't have his cleanse from before, and it's a 3v1.
Yeah, this was all started by MFT. I think they're starting to feel a bit of pressure themselves
They
off the back of this. So
bit.
now that we reset, yeah, I think they're going to have to protect Whale a little more, especially when those cooldowns are still going on. It's also just like we need to see 665 getting multi-man Keeper's Verdicts. He's been saving it, using it on one target, and that's trouble.
I'm also not sure why MFT are feeling that pressure to go ahead. Oh, okay.
Look at this.
Start this again.
Oh, they're not going to commit. They're not going to commit. They got spooked.
MFT actually have a superior team comp when it comes to laning. Like, I don't feel like they should force themselves into bad positions like they did right there. Into the Baron pit. Going
Gold
down
game is so
half
close,
HP.
too. It is where, like, despite the fact that PSG shifted a little on tempo, right? It's 3-3 in towers, very comparable in kills. Gold is within 300.
Yeah.
And, like, dragons are split. It's a Cloud Soul. Like, it's not, I don't think it's quite as important for those late game fights. Like, sure, the ability haste is great, but you're a ways away from it happening anyways. And, yeah, I think we've already seen a team on the cusp of winning just have defeat smack them in the face after one big mistake in the form of Sem9. And now Taco finds Hanabi, who does not care about the Gwen Mist, but everybody else is coming to the party, so he should be going down. I don't care how tanky he is. Let's see if MFT can get anything done with it. Actually draws Gory and tries to buy some time. Goes for a big leap strike into the counter. He might actually find him, but
he gets
so
it!
Close. He
1v2!
He gets the one! Can he get two? Off the back, Taco! I don't believe it! He gets the shutdown, and now the fight is gonna be 4v3 at the Baron pit! They take the Nash! Can they get even more? Into the Fate Skull. Whale pulls his support back in. They toss it. MFT! They're doing it! They're doing it! I can't believe it, but they're doing it!
Taco for president, MFT! The collegiate team, they're gonna take down PSG, our representative at internationals. Is this really happening?
My word! Woo! Taco, what a beautiful 1v2. Even if he'd bought time, it would have been good, but And adding the cherry on top, MFT win the fight, secure the Baron, the death timers are there, Gory's up, but they will at the very least break the base. What a beautiful series of events for Meta Falcon team.
That was just a massive gold swing. We have to watch that play once more. First off, I think the itemization was actually quite good here. You have the Maul of Malmortius, which gives you the lifeline earlier on. It's a ton of sustain onto Taco, so it allows him, even at low HP, to keep here. He gets the leaf strike away from the Senna. Look at the shielding here. Pops the second counter strike to avoid a lot of that AoE damage. Then walks around, goes back forward, dodges skill shot, second leaf strike to kill Gory. He's low mana, but he's got that blue buff ticking, so he's able to take down another solo lane coming in from PSG. What a legend is Taco.
I don't think I've ever seen someone play a Jax to that kind of edge. And remember, this is like the Frozen Heart build. Like, my word, what a like. We know Taco is a great player, but holy cannoli, what a start to this one. 30 minutes on the clock, and it's now MFT driving down in 2 lanes here, getting the 4-1 going, have a Sun Disc as well. And Nabi, man, the tables have turned on that guy right now, and no Ignite means the all-in potential is still there. MFT, they just need to walk this one to the finish line.
Are they going to do it? This is going to be such a massive morale booster for MFT. I thought they were going to fall in the heap in line with Dewish, with the Sem 9s, and go into our bottom 3. But MFT, they're proving me wrong. They're coming in strong, and in they go.
Let's see if they can close it. Steadfast Presence comes a little bit late. 665 does take another tower shot, and they're actually going to have Hong 2. Push back the Emperor's Divide. PSG, they're not done just yet. They get a big burst damage here, and maybe they can turn things around. Taco, he can't quite find an opening for the team on the team fighting Jax. And now it's PSG turning around. They'll swallow up Whale, spit him right back out for the kill. And Taco gets away, but just as we sang their praises, oh boy, Clement, PSG, they're running down the mid lane.
What was that, 665? I don't get it. What was he trying to do there? I feel like if you just ult the rest of the team from PSG, you can take that inhibitor for free. Like, I felt like there was an elaborate scheme that was a little bit too convoluted. Let's watch that again. 665 coming in from the side. All he needs to do is spin the ult up. Just spin the ult. Oh, okay. He never even touches the ult in this side. Oh boy.
Yeah, that was a misexecution right there. Sometimes failure to launch on the hammer, and PSG is a team that knows how to take advantage of the fact that the team has done goofed, but they can't get anything else off for it. The death timers aren't that long just yet, so it's only resulting in a mid-tier 2, and now it is a fight not even over Soul. This is Dragon number 3 for both teams. This game has gone a while, in fairness, but it has been anything but slow.
Okay, so this is what 665 needs to do. He targets Kai Wing, and then it's open season on Unify. That's all he needs to do.
There we go. Steadfast Presence. He needs to get that off, though. Look at the health bars. They're starting to shred right now. 665 is going to fall. Did not have the ultimate available, and now it's PSG again. PSG looking for the kills. Whale trying to hold on. Goes golden for just a second. Buys a little bit of time, but his time is up. And PSG will claim the spoils of the dragon. We've got deja vu here. Clement, Taco's the last man standing again.
I really want MFT to just stop trying to flank. It's not working out for you guys. It's
665. 665. I don't know what's happening, but it looks like he's got a little bit of performance anxiety. That hammer doesn't want to come out to play.
Yeah, all he needs to do is actually just slam the hammer. If he gets 2 people, instant engage, end the game. I don't know why he's holding onto the ult that much. Like, if PSG are grouped like that, you just hammer. It's hammer time, baby. And I don't understand why they're walking forward. Also, I've said this before, but if you're trading sides with Zhonya's Gwen, you're doing something wrong. Like, you're never going to be able to out-trade sides with Zhonya's Gwen because she can just keep alive for so long. Hey, Halo Miss is 5 seconds, Zhonya's is 2.5, and you can't expect the Jax to walk through his ins out. That's just not going to happen. So, stop trying to flank, get the hammer down first, and then full engage. That's it.
All right, so PSG getting back into this one now means they not only have a little bit of priority and an advantage here, it's about 30 seconds from the Baron spawning. I mean, this has kind of felt like a bit of a throwback game, like so many big fights, but not the decisive game-ending ones, even though they have been decisive in favor of PSG the last 2 times. There's also a big gaping hole in the bottom side of their map, which means they've got to be careful up against the Jax with teleport.
This is the problem with playing with Taco. She's actually very difficult to play alongside with. Hanabi does have help here, so I don't think Taco can fully commit to this one. They're just going to force members to go back to base. Smart move to try and get some vision control. Once again, all eyes on 665. Let's see if he can execute this. If he gets the knock on any of the targets, Fate's Call onto Rel, instant engage, you finish off PSG. You send them to 5-2, and MFD are now looking to move up the standings. So a lot on the stake. I want to see if MFD can pull this off. Come on, 665, you got this.
PSG have pulled back a little bit though, and now they are going to be trying to push into mid, keep the tempo advantage. There's less than a minute to work with on bot inhibitor, and that's going to give PSG an edge if they want to try and force a fight. Control seated over the Baron pit. There's the back from MFT. Get healed up, try for a few more buys. We're starting to get level 18s across the board. I mean, a little while for, you know, the likes of the bot lanes, but still. Actually, Issue very far behind, 3 levels behind the Tahm Kench, but of course it's not entirely fair when it's fasting Senna. Little Issue's in trouble, though. Dodges away.
The slow would have been pretty bad news for him, but able to get out of this one. And now PSG potentially looking to cut off the Jax here, so you have to be very careful about Taco's positioning. So far, they've done a really good job at just holding vision on the 4-man for PSG. So whenever they see PSG go toward the Baron, then you see Taco pushing up super far. And whenever they're moving towards the bottom side, you actually see Taco back off. I feel like split pushing alongside with your team is one of the hardest things for rookies to pull off, but he's been doing it very well.
PSG setting up a Baron bait in the brush. MFT not going to fall for that one. Kaiwing, no, he forces the Issue, but they didn't want to engage. Taco looking for the wrapper on the side, gets insta-charmed. That means he's not going to be able to make the play. Look at the Hanabi flank, though. PSG inside track. They should be able to start Baron.
Interesting move by Taco. I didn't think that he would be able to go in right there. I'm just so surprised that 665 is just... Oh, there we go. Come on.
It's the hammer, the wind-up. He needs to slam it down, and he gets one. It's just Gory. It's a 4v4, though. They don't have the Jax involved. Here goes 665. Looking for Smite. No! It's too early. Gory's back in with a Spirit Rush. All of a sudden, things are going sideways. MFT running for the hills. They need to buy time. Look at the Jax. They're going for the game. They've already got the back on Hanabi, though. He's not going to be able to do this in time. MFT, the gambit has failed.
Will is going to go down. I don't think Issue is going to be able to escape. Kaiwing is going to cut off his path. And MFD had everything going for them, but they just get outsmarted, out-experienced over and over again. PSG are going to try and chase this down, but Taco with the turnaround.
2v2, maybe they can find it. However, it's not just 2. They've actually going to bring Unified from downtown. He's got the Dawning Shadow. Now Hanabi's here as well, and Taco... Oh, you had a 1v2. I don't know if you can do a 1v3. Gory flashing away from danger. And once again, oh dear, we see the PSG push, and it's Hong2 and Taco. 665 need to get back to try and defend, but Taco's being chased down by the Tahm Kench. I don't know if they can stop this PSG. I think they're snatching victory from the jaws of defeat.
The lead 2-man here. Taco has to TP back, but he's low HP. He could just be sniped out here. Oh,
he's gonna run into the fountain. Keeper's verdict comes out, just pushes him. The game will not end here, Clement. We are in for the long haul. But MFT, man, they panicked.
Yeah, there were so many mistakes right there. I feel like the angle, they just, they overthought the angle right there. They went in late with the Baron, tried to come in from the back, only got one target with the Keeper's verdict, and it's, you know, came over the wall a little bit too early, just got killed instantly. So I feel like PSG, even though they're the ones with fewer tools to make this work, they found a way. They've just been able to outplay MFD over and over again. And I just feel like 665's been just been way too timid with the ultimate. Not really. It's actually a fairly low cooldown on the late game too. So if you don't succeed, it's fine. You can just reset the position. You still have Fate's Call and Azir to hold the line anyway. I think you should be much more cavalier in trying to grasp those opportunities, especially when Kaiwing does this. Like, if Kaiwing does this in front of your face, he should be punished. He deserves to die right then and there.
Tell me how you really feel. Oh man, we're cresting the 40-minute mark, and we had a record-setting shortest game. I think we are going to be going in for the longest. I wonder what the longest summer split game has been for the PCS. It's got to be getting close at this point, but PSG are not keen to let it go too much longer here, even though they've lost another inhibitor down bottom. They're pushing with 4 members strong in that same lane. Meanwhile, they've got the open one in mid, and Gory's going to be leading the charge, really having redeemed himself from a little bit of a rough game. Here comes the windup on the hammer. Where's it going to go? The timer only finds the Kench. Kaiwing on the front. Doesn't matter. In a 4v5, they can keep on pushing.
And they don't even try to engage on that one. That's you're supposed to try and do something after the 4v5, and now you're just down to ultimate.
They got to make the play. They need something to shuffle. Maybe something like that could happen. Taco goes forward. Sefes Presley's going to block a little bit, but doesn't matter. Oh no, the Emperor's Divide only succeeds in dividing your chances at victory. PSG with the the Cloud Soul and all of the tempo, all of the team fight, everything that MFT had going for him just evaporates. And that is going to be it. Taco just trying, counter-striking, not going to find anything as the Nexus is bare. PSG will close us out with a win against MFT.
Oh boy, I feel like for this game, PSG won, but Taco was the one that was truly enshrined in immortality. MFT, this was honestly your game to lose. I felt like they were given so many opportunities. Honestly, PSG kind of messed up a number of times just with the engages. They just weren't punished. I just feel like MFT didn't use their tools to the fullest.